I'm here at the Functional Medical Institute to meet with Dr. Mark Sherwood. A few weeks back we did a full blood panel and I'm here to get the results.
Hey Michael, how's it going, man?
Mark, good to see you again, man.
Come on in, have a
Yes,
seat.
sir.
We'll get going, all right? Micronutrients as whole, just so you know, are not tested very often. Very, very rare. So now you see it over here on the on your left. So as a general rule, when you do blood work, right, it's like what's passing through the blood. Okay, the blood carries white blood cells, red blood cells, and plasma. We take supplements, but do we ever know if they're getting down to the desired destination? We don't.
We don't.
We take stuff, we do stuff, but if the digestion doesn't work right, they don't get assimilated right, they don't get transported right, and they don't go into the cells, get stored. Just so you know, you're an exercise guy. Exercise people generally have leaky gut because stress will cause those tight junctions to separate, which leads to the lack or lessened assimilation of nutrients. So we have a ton of professional athletes here that we deal with, and everyone have a bunch of nutritional deficiencies, and so you have to kind of do some workarounds. To the right you see the immune function. We take the same T lymphocytes and we expose them to something called a mitogen, which activates the immune system. This test gives you a real-time example about how well in real time your own immune cells are functioning.
Okay.
Which is good. So again, you see a 63 right there, not strong but high average. First time I've done this test on everybody, for the most part, I've done it for 15 years. Majority of the time you're going to see people not have adequacy. It's not unusual. Yours is actually better than average, which is good. Functional deficiencies, and you see borderline deficiencies. So we look at these under the analogy of a car. If you have something that impairs the function in a car, that might mean it has no oil, and it might mean it has no air in a couple tires. That would be synonymous with functional deficiency. So you see there that you have manganese, which is a trace mineral, and vitamin B2 known as riboflavin that are deficient, meaning it does impair with something. When you do this, to have 2 or less deficiencies, functional deficiencies, is pretty good. So I wouldn't look at that as a bad thing.
These two that I'm deficient in, the manganese and the vitamin B2, is it, you think, because I'm not eating it, or is it because my body's not functioning right where it's using it?
It's both. Both. Your body's production of free radicals at the mitochondrial level is immense, because the more you work out, the more you move, and you're a workout guy, you grind that system over and over again, and it has to come up with more energy. You're a high performance athlete, high performance car, you create a lot of free radicals, and you're missing manganese.
The system that helps eliminate.
Bingo. Then you know that the potential aging process of your body is speeding up because of the free radical buildup. So we got to fix that to slow down that process. You're going to see a pattern there. You see a pattern of non-optimization. Okay, so everything's kind of like borderline mostly. You got a couple that are barely adequate, barely strong, and you got one that's deficient. See how that works? And so you can also go down and look at the amino acids right below that and kind of scan that. You see they're looking from left to right, B1, thiamine, all the way over to the B7, which is biotin. There's a pattern that's low across the board.
I see that, man.
Every athlete has this pattern.
Oh, really?
Every one of them. Every one of them.
Interesting.
And it doesn't matter if you take B vitamins or not. You know, obviously there's quality that matters. There's a lot of multivitamins out there that have multiple things. Multiple vitamins, multiple minerals, but they're minuscule quantities. They're not the most bioavailable forms. When I say leaky gut, does that ring a bell with you? Kind of know what I'm talking about, or no?
Not really, because I never thought it would be something that I would have.
Well, it's not unusual. Stress, caffeine, alcohol, processed foods, and medications can cause those junctions that are supposed to open up and allow the nutrients to slide through, like a toll gate. Stop, okay, you're good, let you out. It causes them to blow open, and they get leaky, and so you get stuff that leaks out, and instead of being assimilated properly, you get a lack of assimilation. Okay, the leakiness is something that all athletes have because stress taxes the body.
And we're not even talking about mental stress, just central nervous system
Physical,
stress from
that's right.
hitting the weights every day, hard, day after day.
Cardio, even the mind. You know, people that really are busy and have an active mind can generate autonomic nervous system stress, which can tax the body too. But you throw the performance person on top of that, it's a big deal. So the leakiness of the gut can be fixed, and it's usually self-corrected with rest and with right nutrition. But when we are moving it all the time at a hyper-warp drive, we don't ever have time for self-correction.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, I'm going to take the week off or the
No.
month off from working out.
Who does that, man?
It doesn't happen.
So when you look at this, you see your B vitamins are pattern low. You see your amino acids are also pattern low.
Which is interesting because
Yeah.
you think this is new information for me, and what I'm getting most out of this is knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning about my deficiencies, but just about this whole process, it's new information for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of personal trainers, a lot of definitely natural athletes that compete like I do, the majority of us don't know anything about this.
Well, and you bring up a very
Nothing
good point
about it.
there. And it's interesting because I watch a lot of trainers and athletes, and I had a lot of them come through here, and a lot of people that I know have all kinds of potential to stay fit longer, healthy longer, and really optimize what I like to characterize as the biological aging processes and speeds. It's the way your system is aging. And how does your system fight or manage the aging process? Micronutrients at the cell level.
As a bodybuilder, I'm thinking, but Mark, I eat 200 grams of protein every day. I'm
Right.
drinking my whey protein. I get my amino acids. How in the world is that low?
Well, it makes sense because we consume them here, and I talked about the digestive and assimilation process. What if you have leakiness of the gut? That's why they're not being absorbed properly. They're coming in, but just because they come in doesn't mean they get inside. Now, if you were to put a force circle out to the right, you would have the manufacture of creatine, which is important to hold muscle tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody out there listening needs to take creatine. In the story, creatine monohydrate, 5 grams is good, not just to maintain muscle tissue, but to help with this pathway.
Yeah.
And that's really important. Now, as far as like a remedy to sort of help with the leakiness of the gut, which we can say we have, and you always will have as long as you're training. So how do you slow the process down so you get better nutrient assimilation? To understand the gut function, I want you to think about this. Prebiotics, which are fiber, probiotics, which are good bacteria in the gut, and then postbiotics, which are produced from the good bacteria. The pre, pro, post combination in that order of preference. So when you think about this, prebiotics are fibers from plants. So if you start utilizing more plants in your system, getting those in shakes, getting the fiber content up, that's number one. Number two, the probiotics. You got to take a probiotic. You need about 50,000, 50 billion, I should say.
Yeah.
Colony forming units, probably even 100, but I would do 50 billion maybe twice with you, one in the morning, one at night. Got all that?
Yes, sir. This is I am not overwhelmed. I'm actually thankful for the knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thankful. This was a learning experience for me, and it was the reason I was excited to get with you on this.
Well, I'm glad that you had a good time. I'm glad it,
Yeah, definitely.
hopefully it got you lit up about some things.